You in danger going down the hill, 90 miles an hour behind the wheel. So every man sees you, then you might let one please you, leave you so empty.
Lessons from a good girl. Well, the first thing that's always asked is why good girl? Good girl is not a term that I gave to myself. I guess I just became a good girl by default. I didn't fit the bad girl definition, not really edgy, not really a risk taker. So really I like doing what I was told, and so that pretty much is how I ended up with the good girl title. It's practically just a stereotype, but one thing that I wanted to do was kind of break the stereotype that says all good girls eventually turn bad. I actually read articles that said that being a good girl was something that was superficial, that nobody can achieve being good all the time. And once I read that, it was like, really? I can't say that I've been perfect and without fault, but I have no desire to be bad. And so that's where a good girl comes from. Now, the misconception is that only girls can read the book, and that is so not the case. Good Girl is for everybody. Actually, in the title, it's lessons from a good girl, not lessons for a good girl. So I've actually had guys to read the book, and they loved it and got something out of it as well. So it's just typically my story, reading in lesson format. When I thought of how I can tell my story, of course, writing a memoir of all the things that I went through would probably be boring. And so I tried to think of a clever way to display what it is that I wanted to teach. And lessons was the first thing that my friend and I came up with. Now, originally, I was going to write a memoir. I wanted to tell my story. I had been through a very hard time. I went through a breakup that I had never experienced anything like that before. But I recovered fairly quickly, and everybody wanted to know how and why, and it seemed as if I had done some miracle. And so I wanted to write a book that told that story and showed other people like how they could come out of it in an efficient amount of time. Well, being the nice person that I am, I decided to locate my ex and tell him what I was going to do, and he wasn't too fond of the idea. And so I didn't want to give him any more credit than he was needed. So in an effort to not scandalize his name, yeah, he did say that, I wanted to find a new way to tell my story, that writing an entire book about a 4-year relationship probably would be the best idea either, especially after I came up with that bright idea. Lost and Found came out, and I called my editor/friend and was like, look, girl, I am not writing a book. Have you read Sarah Jake's story? Like, I do not fit, I cannot continue. So let's just rethink this whole book idea, because that wouldn't work right now. Shout out to Sarah Jakes for writing an amazing book. My friend wasn't having it. She was like, girl, whatever, you gonna write a book. And I was like, but my story doesn't have substance. Like, what am I gonna say? What am I going to tell people that they're going to get and want to read my book? And so I think the most exciting thing for me was the fact that people are actually reading it. Like, they are sending reviews and saying that, you know, certain lessons help change their life. And I'm just like in complete shock, because my story is helping somebody else. I never thought that day would come.
Wanted you to fall. You remember